so the waitress can quickly ask a question in the right context, and you know who needs to be responsible to answer quickly, because it's not just a message shout out in a hall, it's in a specific group chat. So all of those things came together into that's a screaming environment that wants a solution.
What if I told you that the greatest threat to your restaurant wasn't competition, but it was your group chat? My name is Shawn Walchef. This is Digital Hospitality. Today, I have Guy Weiss. He is the CEO and co-founder of an app called Zenzap, bringing clear communication into hospitality. Guy, welcome to the show.
Hey, Shawn, what's up?
We're going to talk about what's up. We're going to talk about WhatsApp. We're going to talk about Slack. We're going to talk about Teams. When we started this show back in 2017, I was a restaurant owner starting a media company and wanting to have conversations. My grandfather taught me to stay curious, to get involved, and to ask for help. And podcasting gave me a platform to reach out to people much more successful, technologists, entrepreneurs, business owners, restaurateurs. And, here we are 8 years later, and we have lots of different shows that we have. We have clients all over the world. We work with the best brands in hospitality. And when it comes down to the thesis of this show and the work that we do, so much of it comes down to 4 C's. And those 4 C's are content, commerce, communication, and community. Somehow, somewhere, everything that we touch is tied into those things. And as a modern business owner and a modern media company, we believe so deeply in content. We believe so deeply that content without commerce is nothing. We will go out of business. We believe in communication, and we believe in community. What we haven't talked about on this show, out of all the hundreds of episodes that we've done, is communication on a grand scale and communication as it relates to hospitality. That's why I'm so excited to work with you and your team to share with our community what you're building and why you're building it. So let's start with the pain point. Why did you create Zenzap?
Well, that's a great question. So what is Zenzap and why we've created it? So I'll start with a personal story, because I think that's the best thing always when speaking about new ventures and new startups. So myself, I work in the tech industry for many years. I had a few startups. Some of them were acquired. Some of them are still up and running. And I looked at myself and other business owners and the other businesses and other employees / people at work. And I realized we all use those personal messaging apps like WhatsApp. And some of us, obviously, we're using Slack more in the dev community, group chats in sort of accounts. And I realized that communication is basically what makes, us human beings and people different from other species, right? And the massive COVID thing that hit us and everyone working remotely just, spotted in the thing that communication, quick communication, what we call instant communication is at the core of everything we do as a team.
Yeah.
And then when you look deeper into things, you see that, well, why not everyone using Slack? Like that's like an absurd question. As a tech person, I can say that. But then you realize that some of them are not using anything. They're just using what's comfortable for them and what's available for them. And they're complaining about it. And it's making a lot of noise and a lot of hassle for business owners and for employees and et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, well, there must be a reason why they are using those simple and amazing tools like WhatsApp and Telegram and iMessage and stuff. And on the other, not using those team communication apps. And we started to dig in, and that's where we understood that basically Slack and Teams are, one is for the dev community and one is for the enterprise. And, those WhatsApp and iMessage and Telegram and Signal are personal messaging apps not built for work. And there's nothing that is, on one hand, amazing to use, simple to use.
Yeah.
My grandma can use it in a sense, and is built for work. And this match, and it includes all the things that as a business owner, as you can tell, you would want to have, those added value features for work. And it works great on mobile, and everyone can use it. There's no training attached, and we see for any type of existing tool, they fail at something when it comes to business use case, to work use case, if it's a hospitality industry or whatever it is. And that's where we decided, or I think we think that the noisy environment that we get from personal messaging app used at the workplace, and the clutterness and the inefficient environment of how we communicate, because as we said, communication is the core of how we achieve things as a group, made us say, okay, we want to build something that is great and people would choose to use it, and it's going to be as good as what we expect in 2025 now. And on the other hand, it fits all the needs and workflows of a business. And that's why we decided to, me and my partners, my investor, Adam Fisher from Bessemer Venture Partners, to really double down on creating Zenzap, which is a Zen environment, like a calm environment that you want to have peace and quiet at work and you want to focus. But on the other hand, make it quick, make it efficient, make it jobs to be done, make it fast. So the Zenzap story came in together, and now we're here.
As you started doing research with hospitality groups from all over the world, what were the pain points that you were running into? What were the frequent pains that they discussed?
Yeah, so it came us by surprise, hospitality, because we weren't focused on any specific industry. We're just like, let's build something that people want, right? People want to have a great tool to communicate with their, colleagues. But when we started meeting those hospitality businesses, restaurants, bars, chains, small chains, large chains, hotels, we saw that there's a common issue that just is there and screaming, and it was, we have tens to hundreds of employees in so many group chats. People come and go. Onboarding and offboarding is a mess. It's basically something that we cannot do anymore. Everything eventually runs over group chats, whether it's a WhatsApp group chat or iMessage, text message group chats or whatever. Even Snap, we saw people using Snap.
Yeah, I've heard of restaurants communicating with their staff on Snapchat. I have heard of that.
Communication, within staff, and making sure people are on board and off board. And when somebody leaves their restaurant, he stays within those group, and then all the data lives with him. And if you shared something and just sharing a note with all of your employees or with some departments or with a waitress, it's just impossible. So managing stuff in scale became a hard thing. Second thing is, you are in a 24/7 business.
Yes.
And there's always someone who's not on duty, right? He's not on work. So he's a part of those groups, and it's not, and when the phone rings, he doesn't know if it's his mom, his girlfriend, his friends, or it's just, I don't know, Shawn sending a message to somebody else at the group.
Correct.
Saying that we need more cucumbers. I don't know. So those separation, the environment, the lack of abilities to delegate tasks simply within a chat to people and keep track on those things, to create focus groups around ideas and topics and projects and staff and departments, and then integrating it with Toast, getting a daily stats of what's going on in any of my locations, allowing my team to collaborate within their own team about changing shifts with each other, and making sure it's integrated properly with, I don't know, 7 shift or whatever it is. So those shift management, the operations, the supply chain, the separation, and then onboarding, offboarding, managing, hundreds of people, it's just a mess. And the last thing was, business owners get annoyed because you have personal details, and because you work in my restaurant now, you're in a group chat.
Yeah.
Meaning you have the phone numbers and personal data of all of the members in the group chat. So we met some, sexual harassment issues between employees and other employees after working hours because they're in the same group chat and they have each other phone numbers. So many of those things are just a perfect fit for why hospitality communication is broken. And on the other hand, you want to have something that is, you don't need to teach anyone to use it.
Yes.
Because you want to have a bare minimum of entry level. So, and that's where chat is actually brilliant, because if you introduce chat, it's just chat. Everyone knows how to use a chat, but it's manageable from your point of view. That can create a huge change in the culture, in the operations, in the ability to scale and open more locations without the hassle, delegate, which means eventually scale, making sure you maintain the right level of quality of service. You make sure you answer people on time when it's important. Think about, someone you goes into your restaurant and he needs something, so the waitress can quickly ask a question in the right content, in the right context. And you know who needs to be responsible to answer quickly, because it's not just a message shout out in a hall. It's in a specific group chat. So all of those things came together into that's a screaming environment that wants a solution.
You've shared about the 3 S's, I believe: simplicity, security, and structure.
Yeah.
Can you share why are those pillars so important for what Zenzap's building? And
yeah, that's a great question. I think that when you look it's not something that we invented. It's something that we curated or choose to follow.
Yeah.
And why we've chosen simplicity? Because there are alternatives in the market.
Sure.
They're not simple enough. I wouldn't even say about costly, because let's put, cost aside. Because they're not simple enough and not intuitive enough, they are not being adopted.
And they're not mobile first.
They're not mobile first. They're not being adopted by your team. You want to make sure your team asks you to stop sending messages on whatever it is and just stay on Zenzap or whatever it is. So simplicity is a necessity to create success and create growth. It also goes down to, we want to disrupt this communication industry by allowing broader audience and less skilled in a way to use our tools. So you don't want to have an aerospace where actually you need the bicycle. Yeah. And anyone knows how to use a bicycle. So we wanted to create a bicycle. So that's about simplicity. You want to make everything secure, because secure is not about encryption. 2 different words. Encryption is to make sure nobody can read your content, or nobody you didn't want to can read your content. Secure is about making sure data doesn't stay on employees' phone when they leave. Secure is about making sure you want to enforce a policy of not be able to take screenshots of important data. For example, prices and agreements you have with suppliers of goods and services. So that's secure. It's much more broader than encryption. User management.
Are you not allowed? You can't take screenshots of Zenzap messages?
You can, but as a business owner, you can decide. You have so many admin features you can enable and disable. For example, secure is making sure each employee.
So you can enable to not have screen.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, you can also set up privacy settings.
I had no idea. That's amazing.
Yeah, you can also set
isn't that a difficult thing to create?
It is. It is,
because of different phones. I mean, that's phenomenal. What an incredible feature.
By the way, you can also choose that people cannot download, or some people, based on the role, cannot download data to their personal devices. If you send now an Excel spreadsheet with your prices, you want to make sure they don't leak.
Yeah.
So secure is a broader word. And I think, for example, anti-malware scanning of files being sent. You want to make sure your business is secure. You want to make sure you have provisioning over users and what they do and who can access Toast. Just as an example, secure is I want to make my employees feel secure by not sharing their privacy data and private data with other employees.
Yes.
So secure is a broad word. So simplicity is one, secure is the other. And what was the third you mentioned? Structure. Structure is the difference between making, I love to take an examples of real life. You can take a room full of people and let them speak. Eventually, they would say, "We need a whiteboard. Give me something to write, and let's structure things down." Why? Because they're not socializing.
Yeah,
they're trying to get things done. And when you want to get things done, you want to have some sort of structure abilities, but without forcing too much structure, as you get, for example, in project management tools that are kind of like they glory the structure without thinking about the user.
Correct.
Will they actually use it? So,
tell me about it. You're speaking my language.
I don't want to come up with names, but you can assume all the Tuesdays and Wednesdays of the world.
Yes.
Are, by the way, they do great job.
Oh yeah, but there's different personality types that are using those types of tools, and
for the
and the simplicity of building a simple platform where multiple personality types can use those tools and communicate effectively is very powerful.
Exactly. So I think structure is one end, and the other end is you want to make a structure way of how I see run my business. So I want to get the point of sale reports from every location I have by 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. I want it structured. I want to know. I want all of my employees. We're going to get tip updates end of the day.
Yeah.
I want to make it structured. So structure goes with how I, as an individual within my team, wants to structure my day-to-day and make it more efficient, and how I, as a business owner, want to structure my business, departments, group chats based on the locations, departments, roles, and etc. So structure is very important. And when you have three of those things, structure, simplicity, and security, you basically in a position to help a lot of businesses become better. That's where you go.
We have a lot of multi-unit restaurant leaders, owners that listen to this show. What would you tell them is the cost of poor communication? How do you calculate the cost of poor communication throughout organizations?
I would say start from a personal cost and burned out minds.
Yeah.
In a sense, because managing, and I have friends and now customers whom we speak to all day, and you see it's a fucking difficult business.
Brutal.
It's a heavy operation business, and you can get into the end of the day and say to your wives, whatever, your partner, I just want to go to sleep. Like, I'm burned out. And your employees feels the same. When somebody gets off shift, they start with the cigarettes and the beers, and they need to chill.
Yeah.
And I think that's the first and most expensive thing is time and mindset. And I think when you can use a tool, and I always say, when you want to put a nail in the wall, you can use a rock, but it wasn't built for that. You should use a hammer.
Mm-hmm.
You get the job done better, faster. But you can still use a rock. It will take you're going to do a poor job. And so I think it's the cost of human beings, the human resources is enormous. Turnover of employees, churn, so the environment. And then there's the cost of making mistakes, which each business owner will know by himself what is the cost. I can't tell this cost, but or the cost of data being lost, or the cost of data being leaked to the next restaurant or to the next whatever. So there are a few costs for pre-communication, and I think each of them is costly in a way.
Can you share a oh shit story from a restaurant that you've worked with that maybe was using iMessage before?
Sexual harassment is the biggest one, because that goes into personal responsibility. Um, it's not. It doesn't have anything to do with my business. Why should I fucking, now handle somebody harasses one of my waitresses because she's blonde and whatever hot, and then it goes to I need to pay because I get sued.
Yep.
And it happens on. We hear those stories on a monthly basis from hotels, restaurants. People from the kitchen, they want to speak with the waitress after working hours. So that's like an oh shit moment where they say, "Oh, I just flag, hide phone numbers, and that's it."
Yep.
And the answer is yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a oh shit moment. I think you had an oh shit moment where I told you about the download and screenshots. So you have a lot of features that are translated into day-to-day jobs that we want to get done with, that arises through our life that we want to get done. And we're just not satisfied with how we get those jobs done today. And they're super important for us. Another oh shit moment is when somebody says, when I want to deliver a message and I have 250 employees over 5 locations, I just don't do it.
Yeah.
So I want to be the boss and I want to say, happy holidays, everyone. Great job. We're going to be closed for tomorrow eve. And it comes to a point where I just say, I'm not going to do it. And when you enable, it's just simple, stupid thing to do because you have a purposely built chat for your business, that's a relieving moment where you can, as a manager, can become integrated with the end employees and make, everything more connected and more, I wouldn't say family, but more intimate in a way. And people can comment and react, say, thank you, so you have those moments in the life cycle of a business where it's, or I just save myself a shitload of work or a shitload of hassle, or there's something I couldn't do in the past and it's so simple.
Yeah.
You can't do now. So that's just, we have a bunch of those.
I think what's fascinating when I learned about Zenzap through, part of the Rising Tides community, we have a live show that we do twice a week, every Wednesday, every Friday. We've been doing that for 4 years, but thanks to Richard Liverman, Scott Turner, and Adam Foreman, who are all hospitality professionals in London, absolutely incredible. But that's why I love the community, is that the problems that you're solving are global problems. And, the more that I'm here in Bulgaria now, where I'm recording this podcast, and I traveled to Istanbul with my wife and we visited restaurants, you think about tech stacks for restaurants, of the technology that's empowering restaurants in a modern era to be more hospitable using digital tools. But there's this blurring of lines where there's the restaurant tech stack and then the personal tech stack, meaning the smartphone of every single business owner, that they also have tools that they need to use. And some of those restaurant tools are also on the phone and some of them aren't on the phone. What I love about Zenzap is that you're taking something that we find so convenient. We find iMessage so convenient. We find WhatsApp so convenient. And from an enterprise level, we know that Slack is convenient for tech companies, but in hospitality, there's no simplified solution where somebody that's the higher level upper management all the way to an oncoming dishwasher or line cook that might speak a different language, where there's a simple tool that they can use to communicate to any level of the organization.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is absolutely at the core of Zenzap.
Yeah.
Because the simplicity and those lack of connection between the needs of the business and the individual that works at the business, could be the manager and can be the one of the dishwashers,
Yep.
as you say. We all speak human language.
Yep.
The most you can compare the lowest level that is commodity is chat.
Yes.
And if you want to take it a little bit further, it's just what everyone knows how to use and actually use it on a daily basis
Mm-hmm.
is iMessage. What? So the interface is already proven.
Correct.
But interface tweaked into the workflow is not proven. And I think that's the sweet spot of where you want to make sure you nail it correctly. And once you do that, that's scalable. And it is a global issue. You know, when you go to the UK, you say, are you still using WhatsApp for work communications? Yeah, still. And when you go to the US, you say like, hey, still using iMessage and group chats for work communication. But you basically say the same. You say, are you using your personal
Correct.
tool, easy to use messaging tool to work?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense for you.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's crazy. And the fact that, I mean, we haven't even talked about email, and email for the hospitality industry has always been a challenge. We've been running our restaurant for the last 18 years and getting half of the staff to just sign up for an email so that they can sign up for a scheduling platform or for HR material. All of it has been so difficult. And the fact that now we have technology like Zenzap that allows us to communicate directly, literally directly using a phone number. And because of that phone number, it's in a place that isn't in iMessage or isn't in WhatsApp.
You know, it's funny you say we've been talking to a few, Adam Foreman, which I love. We met in a hospitality event in London a few months ago. Actually, I think he made the introduction between us.
Absolutely. Yep.
So thank you, Adam. We had a chat. And he's in the IT and software business for hospitality for many years. He's an expert. And he said that, when you go into a hotel, for example, or a restaurant, you have one or two people that can actually use email in terms of costs. It costs, I don't know, $12, $15, $20 a month an email, corporate email.
Yep.
And then why would your cleaner use an email to get a message that it's lunchtime?
Correct.
And then he was like, actually 90% of the hospitality industry would never have an email.
Yep.
Because A, they don't need it. B, it's super expensive. And for what? They're not there's a term of knowledge workers, those desk workers who works around whatever, for example, tech. These are totally different type of workers who wants simple, fast, easy, secure, and email is just so, it's so far away from your industry, and it's just like, for me, it's like, well, if you, Shawn, as a business owner, wants to have something like Zenzap, go out to the market, do your research.
Mm-hmm.
You go back and you say, well, was just going to stay with iMessage.
Yeah, I mean, I think the craziest thing about meeting you and meeting Zenzap and learning about Zenzap and actually implementing Zenzap at Cali Barbecue, where we are tech forward. I mean, we're always testing new tech. We have a media company where we find the best in class to talk about them, to share their ideas with the world. The fact that I didn't even realize it was a problem, I think that's probably the biggest aha moment for me, is where I didn't realize I didn't realize that there was something better.
Oh, okay.
So I wasn't shopping for something of knowing that we talked about the 4 C's: content, communication, community, commerce. Like C for Toast takes care of C for us for our restaurant tech stack. And Toast has many different offerings. But when it comes to the communication piece, which is literally the essence of digital hospitality, of how do we communicate to our guests in a digital environment, the same way we do. The essence of what we do in hospitality is, how do we treat someone as a human, and how do you turn a stranger into a friend? Well, that's hospitality in real life. But if you don't have hospitality in real life and you're communicating using tools on the internet, how do you make somebody feel? Well, you do it through communication. And what we don't realize is that the group chat, and once you start talking about group chats, and now that I know about Zenzap, I can start going to customer advisory boards and meeting with other restaurant owners and go, how do you guys communicate with your staff? Because I remember during the pandemic wanting to switch our restaurant group to Slack and asking Slack. I literally called Slack, had multiple people, multiple high-level managers say, can you give me a restaurant group that successfully uses Slack? And no one could do it Because
It wasn't built for that.
Slack doesn't make sense for restaurants. It just doesn't.
Yeah, it wasn't built for that. It's like taking a Formula One. I need a car to go in Manhattan and make sure it's easy to park. It's going to be bumpy the road, so I think it needs a little bit of space, between the wheels and the body. And it's not a bad tool. It just wasn't built for that. And I think that's the beauty. It's not about replacing existing team communication tools. It's about introducing a tool to a market that wasn't there yet. I once heard a story about solar panels in the States. And then the guy was like, solar panels in the States is a difficult business because the alternative is to be connected to the grid. Well, it might be more costly, but it's reliable. It's going to be 20%, 30%, 50% expensive, but it works. It's far more easy to come up with solar panels in Nepal. They can compromise on 50% of the day having electricity and the other 50 no. They can do the compromise because the alternative is 100% of the day with no electricity. So I think it's about the audience and the fit and the capabilities, financials, knowledge, skill set, when talking about disruption and how to disrupt team communication industry in a way by taking something that is at the realms of the reach, I would say. It's expensive.
Yes.
It's complex. It's too much. And make it affordable, accessible to just a broader audience that now are using nothing. So I think that's where we see ourselves.
What is the vision? What's the vision for the future of communication and hospitality?
I think that every hospitality business needs to become a better version of itself and taking the most complex issue about hospitality, which is operation, and make it smoother, better, headacheless, quiet, more zen and more zappy.
Yeah.
So I think that if we do a good job or a great job, you can have more peace of mind. You can focus on growing your business. Employees will stay longer with you. They were going to be happier. You might make much more money than you make today, but that's an outcome. That's the outcome of actions we take. So we should be in a place where we help hospitality businesses to just scale, improve, and become more efficient, like much more efficient. And
can you share a little bit about the vision for Zenzap and how you're going to be using AI tools and AI agents in the communications process?
I can actually share. Yeah. So what's AI, right? AI is a model. It's a language model in most cases, the cases that we know, that allows you to apply so many complicated jobs or things or processes that would be manual to become pretty straightforward, made by machine.
Mm-hmm.
So now the question is, how do you take use cases in things that you do on a daily basis as a manager, as an employee in the hospitality business, and you improve it with AI? And I'll give you just one example. You have a group chat for one of your locations, and there's an alarm with a code. And every other day, somebody asks, what's the code?
Sounds about right.
And I started the stupidest use case in the world. All right.
It sounds about right. And I'm sure it happens in every group chat.
Yeah. And the sad part is when somebody new on boards, he doesn't have the history.
Correct.
Because it's not true. So he needs to ask all over again. And guess what? It happens a lot.
Yep.
So guess what? If you would ask, what's the code? And then chat will going to answer immediately before sending the message. I think the code is this and that because somebody asked it 4 times this week.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just a simple local AI implication of those AI use cases.
Mm-hmm.
Taking it more advanced into agents is think about 2 employees once, or 1 employee say, hey, I can't work tomorrow. Somebody can change shift with me. Then starts a whole conversation and knowing the manager, letting know the manager, it's a burnout communication, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just a headache. And you don't care. You just want to make sure everything runs smoothly. So think about a representative of whatever, 7 shift or whatever, saying, hey, Joe, you want to switch tomorrow evening? That's fine. I see Joe and Noah can do the switch. One of you wants to do the switch? Noah says, yes, I'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Done. Sending you a message, hey, just to let you know, FYI, this is the switch. That's just, very, 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 very simple things that might become available very soon. And the why now is very strong. Like you couldn't do that in the past. You can't do it with the wrong infrastructure. So once you're there, once you have everybody on board, you can do so many things to improve and scale operation that it's just endless.
If you had 60 seconds to explain to a restaurant operator that was skeptical about the need for improving their communication tool, what would you tell them in 60 seconds?
Wow, that's a great question. I would ask them just a qualification, questions. I would just start by saying, what are you using? How do you communicate? How do you do shift changes? How do you get notifications for end of day point of sales? How do you make sure new employees can be onboarded quickly? Is it painful? I would just go through all of the things that we know are, people are screaming about.
Mm-hmm.
And if the answers are yes, they should be like, okay, we need it. And if they don't have those issues, because it's a 2 people store, I don't know. So I would just say good luck. But I would just help them, educate them on those things, just tickle those jobs that occurs on a daily basis and could be, handled much, much better.
Is there anything that I should have asked you that we didn't discuss?
Not really. I think that the only question is, how was my day? How long is your day?
How long is your day?
Long.
Always long. The life of a serial entrepreneur is always long.
I would actually ask you a question if I may. How do you see Zenzap, and how do you feel about? Well, we've talked about it, but 2 years from now, 3 years from now, how do you visualize it?
For me, the way that I see Zenzap, and why I'm so excited about your company and using the tool and working with you is there's so much diversity to restaurant technology. There's so many new players that are coming into the game offering AI tools, whether it's an AI voice tool, whether it's another point of sale solution. I mean, there's over just in the United States alone, there's over 150 point of sale companies. Does that mean they're all best in class? Absolutely not. There's some, obviously we use Toast. We're big advocates of Toast. We believe that they're the Apple for restaurants, but there's so many opportunities for other companies like Zenzap. And how does Zenzap stand out? Well, Zenzap, if you do what you say you're going to do and make it simple and make it secure and make it structured, I think there's a very powerful opportunity from a restaurant entire tech stack when you're talking from an organizational standpoint. But how do you integrate with other key pieces that we already use. The best in class, when you integrate with 7Shifts, when you integrate with Toast, when you integrate with Ovation, when you integrate with Marquee and Restaurant 365, when all of those things become central to, I have one place and I go to Zenzap, and that's where everything about my restaurant business lives. And I can access all different types of data. I can get notified the way that I want to get notified, when I want to get notified. Now I'm in Bulgaria. I'm 10 hours different than Pacific Coast time. I want to get notified not when I'm sleeping in the middle of the night, but I want to get notified when I wake up here. And when I go back, I want Zenzap to know that I'm back stateside. And, maybe I'm in Boston for a customer advisory board with Toast. I want to know in those time zones when I want that information delivered. And I think that's a huge opportunity that Zenzap has, the more that you lean in on not only building the perfect product, but also integrating with whatever else is best in class that we're already using.
So I think I asked you a question that I wanted to ask myself, or you asked me, but we didn't. So I'm just going to add on top of that Zenzap will always going to be focused at the very, 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 very simple and powerful chat, and not becoming an all-in-one platform, which you will always fail because, for example, you mentioned Toast and 7Shift. Toast is the best-in-class point of sale. By the way, Toast Initial Investors is our main investor.
Amazing.
7Shift, they are brilliant and they are expanding their offering. So those vertical, companies that are very good at what they do, they need to connect to something that is horizontal and is just a common denominator for all of them. And that's where we focus.
Yep.
So that's the difference between us not going into their territories, in a sense, from a business perspective, and staying focused on delivering a very good and simple chat, but allowing integrations and becoming an integrated platform for all of those different tools. So you can find yourself with all of the stack you have, using Zenzap perfectly, and actually making far more output and usage from those tools by using it and delivering it through chat. So the value of those tools will increase by using a tool like Zenzap.
Where is Zenzap available now?
Android, iOS, web, Mac, Windows. Space. Has
somebody sent a Zenzap in space yet?
Yeah, we're now in conversations with Elon.
There you go. Are you really?
No.
Not yet.
Not yet. Although I think he was going to admire the Zenzap concept of productivity and simplicity.
I'm sure he would.
Over a bullshit and the clutterness environment. But available anywhere. It's free to use. We have a bunch of, I think out of the 10 largest food chains in the States, we have probably 8 of them using the platform.
Amazing.
A lot of locations. So it's just out there to help business owners and, businesses to operate better. So you can just search for Zenzap and
well, Guy, we couldn't be more excited to be a part of this journey. I know the audience that watches and listens to this, we're grateful that you guys care about technology, care about hospitality, that you support this show. Please follow Zenzap, learn more about them. We'll put the links into the bio, into the show notes. Guy, what's the best place for people to connect with you? LinkedIn?
Probably LinkedIn or Zenzap.
Or Zenzap. Oh, there you go. Even better. Yeah. You can zap. Is it a zap? Is that what you call it?
We don't, because Zapier has zaps.
Oh, Zapier has zaps. Okay, so what do you guys call it?
It's a chat on Zenzap.
It's a chat on Zenzap. Okay, you can chat with Guy on Zenzap. That's amazing. You can chat with me on Zenzap too.
Yeah, we chat on Zenzap all day. So,
absolutely.
But LinkedIn is the best.
Perfect. If you guys want to reach out to me, I'm weirdly available at Shawn P. Welchef, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, all the platforms. We appreciate you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And as always, stay curious, get involved, and don't be afraid to ask for help. We'll catch you guys next week. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you've made it this long, you are part of the community. You're part of the tribe. We can't do this alone. We started, no one was listening. Now we have a community of digital hospitality leaders all over the globe. Please check out our new series called Restaurant Technology Substack. It's a Substack newsletter. It's free. It's some of our deep work on the best technology for restaurants. Also, go to YouTube and subscribe to Cali Barbecue Media. Cali BBQ Media on YouTube. We've been putting out a lot of new original content. Hopefully you guys like that content. If you want to work with us, go to betheshow.media. We show up all over the United States, some international countries. We would love to work with you and your growing brand on digital storytelling. You can reach out to me anytime at Shawn P. Welchef on Instagram. I'm weirdly available. Stay curious, get involved, and don't be afraid to ask for help. We'll catch you next episode.